prophecy has foretold of a great gaming mouse forged in the depths of Mount Bamboo by skilled craftsmen for the sole purpose of being the ultimate gaming mouse. And after centuries of brutal toil, the prophecy is about to be fulfilled. About a year ago, I went on a journey for a new gaming mouse because I was starting to get some pretty bad carpal tunnel in my gaming forearm. And it was during that search that I realized that I really like vertical mice like this one. Because what this mouse does, for those of you that don't know, it just kind of lifts your forearm off the desk a bit so that you don't get as bad wanker cramp while gaming. And after a bit of practice, I actually became more accurate with one of these vertical mice than a normal gaming one. But there's a pretty big problem with most vertical mice. There aren't really proper gaming versions of any of them. They're all kind of productivity focused, which means they've got a sensor in it that Shroud wouldn't even wipe his crusty gamer hole with. Now I was just happy to use this pathetic office version of it for the rest of my life and just suffer in silence. But luckily, I've got a friend who's a bit of a design genius, and he used his wizard powers to take like the shell of this Logitech MX Vertical and plant the guts of a Logitech G305 inside it, so that we have the internals of a gaming mouse, but the sex appeal of a vertical mouse on the outside. Although all he did was design it for me, he didn't actually make me a mouse. That part's up to me, which, boy, that's been one hell of a 3-month process up till this point, which I guess we should start having a look at now, starting at the beginning, with me having to do something I've never done before. When my highly skilled wizard friend finished the 6-month development process of my dream gaming mouse, knowing the process of building it would involve 3D printing, I decided to reach out to Bamboo Labs, who according to Panda Digest makes the tastiest 3D printers. And they were kind enough to send over one of their X1 Carbon Beast printers for this video. Very nice of them. Oh, I was wondering where the top multi-material bit was, but apparently it's just sleeping inside. So yeah, let's get that out. Oh, so much of high-tech looking stuff in here. High-tech indeed, and setting it up felt like putting together the machine that would construct the T800. So now that all of the calibration has happened, I guess we print Benchy and see what happens. But the moment the printing started, I noticed a big problem with my setup. Surely that's an issue, I don't know. The 3D printer was so violent that it was bucking the IKEA desk like a rodeo clown.
A few moments later.
Okay, well it's finished dominating the IKEA desk. I'm gonna have to make a different plan about how I set it up, because that violence can't possibly be good for printer accuracy. Although, let's take it out and see. How hot is this? Well, I mean, straight off the bat, that is a very high def looking Benchy. Not that I have ever seen one before or have any idea what it's supposed to look like. Considering that expecting a table to bear this thing printing on it is like expecting it to handle a bull giving birth on it. So I think for now, I'm gonna put it on the floor. Now, the way in which you tell the 3D printer where to jizz out its lines of hot plastic goo that make up your new gaming mouse is by feeding it STL files. They look like this, and they're basically CAD files that the 3D printing software can read. And these are the ones that my genius wizard sensei cooked up. But he did want me to let you know that he used a bunch of references in this design project. I'll actually have his Thingiverse page linked down below with this whole project on, and he'll have all of his references linked there if you're interested in checking those out. But anyway, getting back to the story, once I moved the 3D printer to the ground, I was rearing to print my new gaming mouse, not knowing that I had weeks of struggle that lay ahead. Pop this up. Oh, okay, so here's our big tower of waste. Oh, Now I've decided to try Bamboo Labs' carbon fiber PLA, which sounds really cool, but I don't think it's quite the right material for this. Because unlike the Benchy, which is PLA, that is really smooth plastic, the carbon is quite rough in its texture, so it doesn't feel great. Other than that, let's break off all the supports. Breaking off the supports is a harrowing process that feels like you're constantly on the verge of destroying hours worth of work. Oh wow, this is a wildly unfun process. I thought this was supposed to come off easily. So the inside looks like it was savaged by a rabid animal, which it kind of was. But cool, there we go, we've got some mouse action going, that's exciting. And this was the start of my suffering. Print after print was failing. Oh no. Oh, that's tragic. That's like an 8-hour print failing. After weeks of printing a bunch of shells, I even had the little jizz hole jam. But after generating a graveyard of failed prints, in a cycle of suffering that crept into my dreams, I finally bought one of these. Okay, so this is a filament dryer, and apparently it should be able to stave off my nightmares. After drying the filament and anxiously waiting for the print to finish, I was about to find out whether or not I could once again sleep in peace. Moment of truth. Whoa, that undercarriage is already way better. We don't have any of the failed screw holes like I did with all the other prints. And once I was finished with the process of brutalizing some trees, I was very happy with the result. Now first off, the print is so much better than any of the previous ones, but this massive trees in the battery compartment is a complete nightmare to get on. Oh. So the moral of the story is if you're 3D printing anything of even medium complexity, you should probably buy a filament dryer. But with that newfound success, I printed the remaining 7 parts I needed before heading to step 2. Now I ended up getting 2 of these because, well, I don't trust myself at all with this desoldering process, because it's like off actual PCBs and stuff, so I can't imagine this is gonna go very well. And considering that forgetting my wizard sensei's advice about the filament dryer cost me weeks of my life, I was sure to not forget to buy the desoldering gun that he said I very much should use for this. So I guess now we have to figure out how to take apart a mouse. I think I need more tools. Luckily, getting inside the G305 was as simple as undoing the screws under the feet and then just breaking it open. Okay, there we go. Revealing the magnificent mouse organs we're harvesting. And once I removed the PCB from the lower shell, I was ready to start desoldering some SMDs. The soldering gun's getting noisy, temperatures are climbing. I'm gonna do 320 and work my way up from there. Which meant it was time to delve into my wizard sensei's instructions. Now, if you've watched any videos on this channel, you'll know that I don't instructions too good, so I was about to start some intense struggles. Now, desoldering the first couple of wires was pretty straightforward. Sick, we've got a little connector. I'm gonna have to extend these wires later. That's crazy. But then I started to get to some real stubborn soldering joints. This joint's just not... Okay, so apparently Weller recommends 370. Oh, finally. I think it's still a functional switch. So now we need to desolder some more stuff. But then I got to the scroll wheel, the desoldering of which was a rage-inducing process that took hours. Eventually, my wizard sensei recommended I use a soldering iron to preheat the joint and then suck it dry. This is quite the process. Eventually though, after a lunch rage quit, I think I've broken the mouse. I'm also super frustrated, like I'm done for now. I don't know. That's like super tilting. I got the little scroll wheel free and desoldered everything else I needed from the PCB. The next step was to reattach the various cables and switches and stuff to relocation PCBs, which we needed because of the weird shape of the vertical mouse. I also needed to extend a bunch of the wires so that they could reach through the crevices of the massive new mouse interior. And once I soldered everything onto the custom PCBs and attached those to the original Logitech PCB, I was ready to start mounting the components inside my 3D printed shell. But this was where me not instructioning too good reared its ugly head. Because I wasn't meant to solder these wires straight to the various PCBs, I was supposed to use connectors, which becomes a problem soon. Next, I mounted the battery contacts, because remember this is a wireless mouse, and soldered them to their connector. And now all that was left to do was mount all the PCBs and various buttons and stuff, and by all that's left to do, I meant a massive process. Got a functional button there, that's cool. Now, aside from screwing down the click mounting plate the wrong way around, which kinda screwed with clearance, something that was straightforward to fix, I finally ran into my cable issue. Because with the fixed wires, I had to mount the original Logitech PCB to the base bit of plastic before attaching the main click buttons. And this was an issue because you had to screw down the main click buttons through the bottom of the mouse, which was now blocked by the bottom of the mouse. Luckily, the main click buttons fit real snug, so I decided to just use them without actually mounting them. All that was left to do now was screw the base in place and see if our abomination works. Oh, it doesn't. Oh no. Okay, I don't know how to troubleshoot this. Let me just see if the on switch is correct.
A few moments later.
No way, it works! Whoa! I think even the DPI button works. Right click works, click. Okay, right click works every now and then. And just like that, it's done! Look at that, it's a gaming mouse that works that I made! Now, the fit and finish maybe isn't great because, well, again, I made it. The click buttons are pretty much just held in by some faith and friction, so that's not great. But, I mean, it's functional. Look at that. It's a working mouse. Now, there are definitely some things that I could have done better. I'll probably reprint the shell at some point. My wizard sensei was a little bit upset that I didn't use connectors. I just soldered all the wires directly to stuff, because that's why I couldn't screw the click buttons down. But that's for a later day. That's not today's problem. Now we're gonna try game on it. Whoa. Well, you can immediately tell that the sensor is better than in the Logitech one that I've been using. It feels so smooth and good. Oh, the shoulder buttons work. I use those for VoIP, so that's very useful. Now I can shout at strangers on the internet. Whoa, but the sensor is definitely better. That's cool. It feels like a gaming mouse, but we've got like a not gaming mouse body. Look at that. Oh. Okay, the clicks are maybe a little bit problematic. I have to be cognizant about how you press the right click because sometimes it does slide under the body a little bit, but I think that may be down to the fact that I haven't screwed it down. The plastic is also very sweaty, I will say. It responds to my grip differently than the plastic that... Oh, the round's over. So, that's also not great. Shortcomings aside, I am super excited to finally have a proper gaming vertical mouse. Thank you so much to my genius wizard sensei for the huge amount of effort that you put into developing this mouse for me. Thank you Bamboo Labs for sending over a 3D printer for this video. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed this madness, and until the next video, bye bye.